Hi, it's that fantasy chick back again for another week, another stream, and I got some things to talk about with the Flash. I want to recap the Flash and the Mandalorian. Of course, I actually watched it, and want to talk about Candice Patton, who plays Iris West Allen. She just shot her very last episode of The Flash, and she was a little emotional about it. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about The Flash. So last week, so it was the week after we learned. Sorry, I always start with my throat. That doesn't bother me until I go live. It's just I don't know what the problem is. But so anyway, so we learned that that this Batwoman was not the Batwoman, was not their Batwoman. She's a Batwoman from another timeline who actually hates the Flash. She was Iris's best friend. She hates the Flash. She says that the Flash in her timeline is the greatest supervillain, but the more Iris talked to her, she believed that, I can't believe you. I think you're lying. Something's up. So, so, you know, so of course, this causes her to get violent with Iris. And then they do the Batman 89 callback. Well, if you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. And I was like, really? Batman 89. I love Batman 89. It's my favorite Batman. But callback. Okay. So she needed the little time machine put together so she can get back to her timeline. So, but she could not, even though she had speed, her speed was artificial, and artificial speed can't power the timeline. So she needs Barry to power the timeline in order to get back home. So she kidnaps Barry, and she uses Iris to force him to run. So of course he runs to save Iris, and while he was there, the I can't remember his name, Frost boyfriend, he had a crisis of conscience, and he was the one who built the machine, and he realizes, this is wrong. I can't help her. He's going to, this is going to kill Barry. Running on this machine is because he's going to run until he basically dies. So he overpowers the machine and breaks it. And so that of course pisses her off, or it knocks her out. I think it knocks her out. I think when the machine blows up, I can't remember. Because at some point she gets knocked out. She gets knocked out cold. And the rogues come to fight, him. And he's like, he tells Barry, I'm gonna fight them. You and Iris go and get away. I'll give you a head start. And Barry's like, no, I can't let you do this alone. I gotta help you. And so Barry, of course, Barry being Barry, he was going to try to run, even though because he was running on that machine, he's not at full speed, he's not at full power, so he can't really truly help him. He would just be running into danger. So his rogues teleported in, got him and Iris, and was trying to teleport out. And he was like, no, we got to save Frost's boyfriend. We got to save Frost's boyfriend. And it was like, we do not have time. Batwoman is waking up. We got to get back out of here. And they leave. And of course, Barry is just filled with guilt because he's always there. You can't let a season go by without him feeling guilty about something. So he's guilty. He feels guilty because the very last thing he sees is them basically piled up on top of him, and one has a knife over him, but they never show him being killed. They never show his body. So we have no idea whether or not Frost's boyfriend actually dies. We just believe he's dead, but we never see it. So this being a comic book show, I'm like, if you don't see the death, it doesn't exist. It does not exist. So, but to go from the Flash to Iris West Allen, there is an article. Let me pull it up. About how emotional she is as she films her final scenes. So the Flash star shares emotional posts as she films final scenes for the series. No way to fully process. The Flash's Candice Patton bid goodbye to the Arrowverse as Iris West Allen this weekend. Having been a major fixture of the Super Speedy series since its 2014 premiere, fans won't be surprised to learn that she was a tad emotional when the time finally came. Over on Instagram stories today, March 4th, a couple of days ago, the actress first uploaded a blank screen with a brief statement, about to shoot my last shot of the Flash. There are no words, before a video later emerged with tears filling Patton's eyes. Fragile AF right now, read the caption. No way to fully process. Just thank you. Heart and pray emojis. So here we go. These are her stories. And her second story with her tear string face and her quote. This comes after the actress, who showed up in 2 episodes of One Tree Hill, teased that the Flash's 9th and final season, which is currently on air, was going to be very Barry and Iris heavy in order to send them off in a way that will please the fan base. They have a legacy to fulfill, so hopefully we'll get to that. I'm eager to see what happens as well. Meanwhile, showrunner Eric Wallace went on to elaborate just a few weeks ago. It's the last season premiere. We all know Stephen Amell is coming back to the show, and it's the last time we get to work with Stephen as the Arrow. What? I did not know this. It's the last season finale. There's all these last happening, and that's really bled into the season themes, which is how finding closure allows you to achieve a new beginning. There's some very special things in the series finale. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces from the past popping up here and there. I wondered if they were going to do that. And it all ties into something that Barry's been struggling with ever since season 1. I can't say more than that. His guilt. him constantly feeling guilty over every decision he ever makes. Let's just say the events of season 1 are still unresolved. His mother's death, and Barry doesn't realize it until this year. Resolving those issues provides the emotional climax for our series finale at the end of season 9. The Flash airs on the CW in the US. Okay, so happy Monday, Opulus Prime. So, yes, so good to hear. I knew that they were bringing back, I knew that they were going to, well, not new. I wondered if they were going to be bringing back people like Supergirl and like, other characters from other shows, especially other shows that have, well, almost all of the other shows have ended. If they were going to be bringing those characters back, because this is like basically the final show of the Arrowverse. So if they're going to go and bring those characters back, we already know they're bringing back Legends of Tomorrow. So I wondered if they was going to bring in Supergirl, Black Lightning, things like that. So we're getting the Green Arrow, because it's the Arrowverse. So I guess they feel like they have, in order to close out the Arrowverse, they got to have the Green Arrow. So that's going to be, who else was on this show? There at one point there were so many shows, like when Batwoman was one. So we have Batwoman on the show now. So it was Supergirl, Batwoman, Green Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Black Lightning. And like every year, the crossover, like as they kept adding the shows, the crossovers just kept getting bigger and bigger until we had Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they just could not top that. That was the greatest crossover. That was the greatest crossover they ever done. And it just did not get any better than that. I loved it. I really wish they would pull out that crossover and put it on its own DVD. Otherwise, you have to go to the separate shows. Like you have to go to find it on. It's going to be all out of order in the different shows, seasons, and it'll be hard to find. So, yeah. I'm like, it deserves to be on its own. It deserves to be on its own DVD, because it was really good. And it was kind of epic. It was kind of epic the way they did it. No, they didn't jump the shark with the crossover. I like the crossover. I think the crossover was good. It was, and they did it at the right time, because after that, the shows started ending. So it wasn't because of the crossover. It was just the shows just naturally just came to an end for whatever reason. And but when they did the crossover, they didn't just bring on the shows. They brought on anyone who's ever worked in DC ever came into the crossover. Like DC TV, DC movies. They even reached into animated. They had someone who was like someone who's done voice work for animated for years was in it. It was epic. It was absolutely epic. People were very happy, and it was especially good. It was because it was Kevin Conroy, and he died. Was it recently? Yeah, Kevin Conroy died recently, so he did the voice of the animated Batman. So he actually got to play a live action Batman in this crossover. Because of this crossover, he got to play the live action version of the animated character that he voiced for years. So it was really cool that way. But I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a DC girl. I love DC. I have three big a Superman, a Wonder Woman, and a Batman poster. Huge, like those movie posters that they put in the theaters. Those I have those hanging up. Um, but but yeah, that's it for the Flash. And then next is the Mandalorian. I brought a guest for the Mandalorian. I brought Grogu. Grogu. Because the Mandalorian is basically the Grogu show. It's basically all about how cute and cuddly this little puppet is. And it's adorable. Oh, you love DC and Marvel equally? Uh yes. Yes, Black Lightning wasn't originally in the Arrowverse, but with the crossover they brought him into the Arrowverse. It was very cool how they did it. It was cool because it was part of the this was their multiverse, and I felt like it was done so well. This was their multiverse event. So it was Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I felt like it was well done. It was very well done. It was so big that they had after the episodes, they would have like another show hosted by Kevin Smith, and he would host a show just talking about the episodes that just previously aired. And they would break down the show. They would, like, I guess, interview I can't remember who they interviewed, but they would interview people from the show, and just spend an hour just talking about what just aired. It was really cool. It was really cool. It was great. And it was a couple of years ago. It was before the pandemic. So it's been a while. It was before the pandemic. Because those shows did not get interrupted. So it might have been 2018 going into 2019. I have to look. I'll look it up, and I'll look it up and find out for sure which year it was. But yeah, it was definitely before the pandemic. So good. Okay. All right. So back to the Grogu show. So so the Mandalorian, about him just walking around with this little puppet, and every season is a quest, and this season is his quest for redemption. So 2018 does sound, yeah 28. I think it's about 2018 going into, because they did it up into, they did like 2 or 3 they did like 3 episodes going into the mid-season finale, and then you had a month off, and then you came back the next year and did 2 more episodes. So it was like 5 episodes total. So yeah, it was 5 episodes total, and 3 before the break, 2 after the break. So that's why I was like, it was 2018/2019. So, okay. So yeah. So the Mandalorian and his quest for redemption, because he took off his mask because Grogu asked him to. But he took off his mask more than once. He took off his mask to do something. He took off his mask basically for Grogu both times. It was to save Grogu, and then it was because Grogu asked him. And so he loves this little alien like it's his own little son. Now that they're riding around the galaxy together, the universe together, he's starting to teach him stuff. And he's like, I guess teaching him passing along his own little wisdom to him, which is kind of cute. But so they're just going from place to place. So there's always something so with the Mandalorian, there's always an end goal. So there's his quest. He's got to go back to Mandalore. He's got to redeem himself. So in order to get there, he wants to use this robot. But this robot is broken. So he needs to get the robot fixed. So he's got to find the piece, a missing piece, to replace, his broken memory card or whatnot, so he can get this robot fixed and reprogrammed to help him go to Mandalore. And so then he goes and he sees Bo-Katan. I don't understand how she fits in with him finding the missing memory card piece, but he goes to see her, and I guess he wanted her help to get back to Mandalore. And he's like, I'm going to go back to Mandalore, and I'm going to find out whether or not, it's poison. And she's like, whatever, good luck. And so he has that, and of course there's conflict along the way when he went to go get the robot. There was some pirates on the planet with Carl Weathers, threatening Carl Weathers. So Carl Weathers is his friend, and so he helped them. So when they was like in a standoff, like a cowboy standoff, because this is basically like a space western. It was in the cowboy standoff. Carl Weathers was able to get his gun off and shoot one, but then there was like 4 behind them that was getting ready to still shoot Carl Weathers. So the Mandalorian took all 4 of them out. And Carl Weathers let the other pirate go because he wanted him to tell all other pirates, that this planet is no longer welcome. Pirates are no longer welcome on this planet, because they were constantly trying to go into what used to be a saloon but is now a school for children. And they're like, dude, it's not a saloon, it's a school. You're not going to get drinks in there. But they were being stubborn. So because of that, when the Mandalorian is out, and he's, teaching Grogu, giving him his wisdom. All of a sudden, he is is the some more of these little pirates come along, and they're like, you shouldn't have cut down four of my friends, and blah 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 blah. So it was like, if first it was like 4 or 5 of them chasing them, and the next thing you know, about 5 more shows up. So it was like 8 or 9 of them chasing him, and they were going through one of those, what do you call it, meteor, like one of those meteor fields or whatnot. And one by one, the Mandalorians took them out until it was down to the last one who got away. And he was like, basically he was bringing him back to the main pirate ship, to the head pirate, so he could take him out. But you remember, the Mandalorian's pirate ship has this button on it, and it's like you press that button and it's out there before you can say boo. So before the pirate was trying to get him to surrender his ship, and he pressed that button, gone before he could blink. So it was a fun episode. It was called The Apostate because he's an apostate now. That's why he has to get redemption. It will be interesting to see, I guess, all the rest of the episodes is just going to be his little adventures along the way to getting everything he needs to get to Mandalore. I guess at some point he's going to have to start his journey to Mandalore, or his journey on Mandalore, or whatever. But I wonder how Grogu is going to fit in once they get there. Because, he's bringing them to a planet that they swear the whole surface is poison. Doesn't sound like a place for a baby. So, but, and I know now that he had his little bit of training with Luke. He was with Luke for a few months or whatever, for at least a couple of months. He was with Luke about as long as Luke was he was with Luke longer than Luke was with Yoda. So he should, have some control over his Jedi and his Jedi power. So we should be seeing him use that more often. So that will be interesting to see. But that is all for today. Yeah. Okay. It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what other nonsense they get into. So, and me and little Grogu, he's going to be with me the whole time. So that's all for today. I'll be back on Wednesday, same time, same place. And I will have another video on Friday as usual. So, thank you for watching.